Welcome to the party. I'm Sam Ekstrom, Locked on Sports Minnesota. Major OTAs overreactions today, stemming from the minimal morsels we got from the reporters. Come on, guys.
I'm Luke Braun from Locked on Vikings. You learn something new every day, but be careful if you learn that something from Stephon Diggs.
Oh my god! Hey, so the thing I learned today is that the selection of a Villanova Pope means losses in the conference finals. Don't draft players from Villanova.
What's happening, Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman talking Chad Beebe, Dan Chisna. Who's going to win that wide receiver 5 job on today's episode?
Locked on Sports Minnesota podcasts. It's endless Minnesota Vikings talk with the diverse voices of your local experts. It's time for the Minnesota Football Party. It's your guys hanging out talking next level Vikings football. So join in with Arif Hasan, Locked on Vikings Luke Braun, Superior Sports Talks Luke Inman, and Vikings insider Sam Ekstrom, plus the biggest names in Minnesota football for the Minnesota Football Party. And it starts now.
Hello, and a happy Thursday. Welcome to the Minnesota Football Party on Locked on Sports Minnesota. It's part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making us your first watch or listen on this lovely Thursday in the Twin Cities. For your second one, check out Locked on Vikings with Luke Braun. Get great daily Vikings content year-round with Luke Braun in the Locked on Vikings podcast feed. Find our audio on that very same feed. It is there on Mondays. It's there on Thursdays, and the Carol Evans Show on Wednesdays, which dropped yesterday with Julia Daniels, Reggie Wilson, Ron Johnson. Check it out. Ron joins later in this show. I want to ask him about Jim Irsay. He's a former member of the Colts organization. We are going to overreact to OTAs, talk the fiercest position battles, surprise moves possibly this offseason, and plenty more. We conclude the show with Name Drop, everyone's favorite podcast game. I'd like to start the show by throwing people under the bus. I'd like to call them out by name.
Truly, it's game time.
It is game time. We're in the octagon right now. I'm calling out, and I know you all personally, so that's why I feel comfortable
This
doing
is dangerous.
Yeah. When you say you all personally, are you developing a parasocial relationship with the audience? Are you including the audience as I know you all personally?
I'm calling out Michael Gunther, Alvaro. No, I'm not calling you guys out. We love you. We love you. I'm calling out
Yes, so parasocial relationship.
Andrew Kramer, Ben Gessling, Alec Lewis,
Drag
Matt
them.
Collar,
Drag them.
Dave Campbell, Ain Mizutani. None of you stoked the fire at all with any good tweets yesterday at all. It was an arid desert, tumbleweed.
Sauceless.
Sauceless.
The only one who offered a morsel of fodder, the newcomer to the Strib, Emily Liker, giving some news and notes. I think Will Raggets, who used to be the best at this, I don't think he was there. We miss you, Will. But I needed more. I needed more sensationalism. And I think the group has gotten soft around KOC. I'll be honest with you. I think they've softened because of KOC's myriad insistence that they not talk about rep count and position battles in OTAs. No.
So are you saying that, like, because we've got somebody, new on the beat, maybe hungry to break some news, eager to prove themselves, do you think that that's like kind of what's happening here? That
Emily hasn't been worn down yet. Yeah,
right.
She's given us the fact.
Yeah.
I don't even need speculation.
Yeah.
I don't need speculation. I just need facts. Tell me who was there. Tell me who was starting.
Spicy, hot take worthy facts.
Yeah, just clarify.
Yeah.
What spicy takes are you looking for? New Jersey numbers? Who's rocking number 1? Who's rocking 99?
Oh, yeah, Naylor rocking number 1. It's a big deal.
You're talking about all this information you don't have. What information don't you have?
No, well, I just want to know who's filling in. Like, who's filling in for the guys that are gone? Who's the top backup in certain areas? Tell me the starting
who's
point.
Who's the left tackle? Who's playing right guard?
Yeah, like this is the starting line of the offseason. So, like, give us the foundation. Where are these guys starting from? Yeah, they might rotate. That's fine. That's
you want to watch the evolution of it, right? You want to know where it started and where we get to by week 1. I get it.
So because nobody tweeted anything, the biggest story is Jalen Nailor changed numbers. Speedy's got a real speedy number
put on
now.
some muscle, I guess.
He's a stout receiver now, KOC said. That's the biggest story? A stout Jalen Nailor?
It's number 1. You're right. It's number 1. That's his jersey.
He stole Shaq Griffin's number.
Man, that is confident, I think. Taking number 1 as someone competing for, not even assured, the wide receiver 3 spot.
So what did
if
we
your
learn?
nickname is Speedy, you can get away with it. Even if you're like deep on the roster.
He didn't even run a sub 4.4. Like, what are we doing?
He's faster than that.
It's quicker than fast. Okay, he's quicker than
he's
fast.
Quick, not fast.
Okay. All right,
he carries his pads well.
I can answer some of those questions for you, Sam, based off of Emily's write-up. I think Caller had some on his podcast. Justin School was the left tackle.
Who would listen to a long-form podcast to get this information?
Yeah,
it's not the kind of thing you should be doing.
That's crazy.
Apparently, your guy, Jeff Okudah, filled in for Isaiah Rodgers, who was not there.
Mm-hmm. Hey.
Donovan Jackson was
as cornerback 3. Like, we're presuming that Isaiah Rodgers was cornerback 3, and then
I believe so. Yeah.
And then Rodgers would be 2, wouldn't you? Or Blackman? Or who do you think?
Blackman is 2, I think. Hard to tell with the corners, though. There's a lot of rotation all the time. But yeah, it was Jeff Okudah was one like playing with the ones. Donovan Jackson was first team left guard. Blake Brandel was first team right guard. Kevin O'Connell also said that Brandel played on both sides. I assume that means he played second team left guard. So he's getting to that like swing backup thing. Doesn't seem like there's a competition there. We're saying, okay, Brandel, you're the 6th guy. Donovan Jackson, you're the guard.
Who is left tackle?
Justin School.
Okay. Sorry. I missed that.
So the guys that were on Will Fries, Isaiah Rodgers, Christian Darrisaw.
Yeah. And Metellus was also out.
Metellus.
Right. So I think that
which makes sense because he's got contract stuff happening.
Right.
Actually, that one almost intrigues me just as much as who was at left tackle, Justin School being that guy, because we've already talked about like is Flores going to deploy as many 3 safety looks with
right,
Cam
so
Bynum back there? So
question.
like who was filling in, or did just the defense
they running 2 safety?
Or running that 2 safety look.
7 on. Oh. That's tough. I don't know that one.
I wouldn't expect anybody.
I'm trying to think of who it would be. It'd be Theo, Harrison
Is it just
Smith.
Theo and Harry out there? And
Jay Ward playing linebacker?
Probably.
Yeah.
Corners,
Jay Ward would be the only guy I could ever think of it being. Unless we're real high on Bubba Bolden.
Yeah, I was about to say Bubba Bolden, right? Like we could see that kick.
He's made teams before. That's something. We're at that part of the roster.
Back. We need Chris Thomason back for the minutia.
Yeah,
I mean, like
media.
Is the tradition is the time honored tradition of like every journalist sitting out there with a roster and like clicking off all the names? Like, is that like and everybody doing it themselves, even though they're all looking at the same information?
Well, I mean,
is that
sometimes you join forces, right? Like
a lot of cooperation. Yeah. Copycat league. Yep.
Yeah.
You take this group, you take off L, take whatever it may be. Yeah. What are special teams? Kick return, punt return. I mean, did they even do that on day 1?
Oh yeah, I don't even know if they would work that too much.
Right. I feel like you get some special teams.
Yeah, maybe it's just kickers and punters, but no, I don't know.
KOC with kind of a good and interesting admission too, basically calling it a passing camp. OTAs are a passing camp. We're not going to learn anything about our run game or run stopping, which rings true. The physicality's been all but taken out. I mean, I remember the Zimmer era, which I covered in full. There were some unbelievable practices in the offseason, like really, really energetic, trash talking, hard hitting, fun.
Yeah, you couldn't wait to get there. You were speeding to Mankato. You couldn't wait.
I was Jalen Nailoring. Yep.
Yeah.
I was.
You were Corin Robinson.
You were Addisoning. Let's be honest. That's I think a better.
I was Corin Robinson.
Sam was sleeping at the wheel. Is that what we're saying?
No, I'm talking about the other one.
You could go either way with Addison. You could go faster. You could go very, very slow.
Or you can go.
He's either going 0 or 150 on the freeway.
No in between. No in between. Yeah, I watched the KOC press conference in full. I watched the JJ McCarthy press conference in full. I think I heard what I expected to hear. He looks good. He's not afraid to put him in positions where he has to like struggle and fail and learn from his mistakes. I think that was all pretty accurate. He feels bigger, faster, stronger. Not surprised to hear that. Did anything catch your ear that wasn't sort of by the script with JJ McCarthy yesterday?
No.
Not much. The only thing that caught me a little bit was just like hearing how much more comfortable he sounds just at the podium from his first rookie couple podium visits, which makes sense as well too. You need reps at the podium too, some of these guys, but outside of that, not much. The only thing
his 8 interviews with Rich Eisen maybe helped prepare.
Maybe helped him a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. Those were some good reps.
Field advantage.
Those were some good reps. The only thing that really caught my eye, KOC wise, was him talking about kind of the evolution of Flores' system and what he's doing on that side of the ball. You know, he talked about, I'm obviously spent a lot of time on offense, but when I hop over to the defensive side of the ball, was intrigued just with, what Flores is working with his new personnel. It was intriguing to KOC and kind of fun to think about. Just, we keep talking about, or at least I do, the 3 safeties. With no Cam Bynum, is it going to be a lot of same 3 safety packages? Is it just going to be Metellus and Harry? Is Jay Ward going to be in there? What's it going to look like in the secondary? And for KOC, I think to hear him talk about the different packages and looks that maybe he's already starting to deploy or tinker with, I guess. It's just kind of fun to imagine because Flo is going to try to, always put his best 11 guys out on the field and maximize each guy's best strengths. But it's a new group of guys this year. So.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I continue to think that Jeff Okudah was signed with a little more emphasis than some. I mean, I think some view it as an insurance policy, reclamation
like a Rondale
project.
Moore in the receiver room.
Kind of the equivalent. Yeah, injury prone, one year deal. I think they're
Rondale Moore also not out there as expected, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sam. I agree. I think he's going to be right in the smack dab middle of this number 3, number 4 guy competition, whatever that looks like.
No doubt. And impressively, I was skeptical. Mekhi Blackmon practicing 9+ months after an ACL tear. That's not bad. That's a pretty good return for him. And I honestly expected them to hold him out the way they operate with injured guys in the spring. Like Will Fry's not going to be doing much in the spring. Blackmon out there. That's good to see. Before we get to Ron Johnson, let me go around the horn quick. This was a JJ McCarthy question from yesterday's show. Want your answers on it. What is the on-field thing that you think could be a hurdle for JJ McCarthy? Like, yeah, I think there's the intangible. Yes, there's pressure, right? There's like bouncing back from an injury and having the weight of expectations. But like on-field, tangible thing. What do you think he will have to overcome in his de facto rookie year, Luke Braun?
I mean, the thing at Michigan was, outside the numbers and deep, throws to there, go balls, that kind of stuff. I'll use the word inconsistent accuracy, but that means bad accuracy. That you just didn't hit enough of those. Got to hit more of those.
Yeah, arm strength for sure needs to kick up a notch in the NFL. Do you have it or don't you? And then just the speed of the game. Obviously he's taking a lot of mental reps in the film room, watching film with Josh McCown and all the backup quarterbacks, everything else. But until you get out there and the bullets start flying, it's just you hear every single rookie from their first year or their second year talk about it. It was the speed of the game that just had my head spinning. Everybody out here is fast. So until you get those live reps, I think that'll definitely be a challenge for him right away too.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to kind of parse out like all of the things that he needs to do from like, given that his like last year in college was more than a year ago, right? And so we have to kind of figure out and track like what may have been part of his scouting report and what like might have naturally been like an evolution of his game. I don't know, for example, if like in terms of speed of the game, how many mental reps he was able to take that might, whether or not he does the VR stuff that like Jaden Daniels did, right? But for me, I think some of the elements of quarterback play that you can definitely get away with in college that you can't in the NFL that, popped up on a scouting report include, the amount of touch he has on his throws. I think that becomes really important in the NFL because maybe a little bit less so for KOC's version of this Shanahan scheme, but like having the ability to create a catchable pass for your receivers and produce yards after the catch, that kind of stuff. Like whether or not you can modulate the speed of your throw so that you can both nail these tight window throws or outside the numbers throws versus, maybe some slants that don't need to be nailed in there depending on the drop back and the coverage, or maybe, some of the corner routes that don't require as much speed as much as they require loft, those kind of things. And so, if he nails that, I think that, that's a pretty good proxy for the kinds of progress he's made on other mechanisms that are really important to developing as a quarterback.
Ron Johnson joins in a moment. Going to ask him about some position battles. Also getting his take on Jim Irsay's passing. He was a member of the Colts organization and coaching staff about 15 years ago. We'll talk to Ron next. We're brought to you today by FanDuel Sportsbook, official sportsbook of Locked On. The NBA playoffs, obviously in the conference finals, on the verge of the finals, and the Stanley Cup final around the corner as well. I'm already looking at hypothetical Stanley Cup finals lines with Edmonton and Florida Panthers, a rematch of last year. I like that series to go more than 5.5. That's an option right now in that series. Also, the Knicks favored by 4 tonight to extend the series. Can they just simply show up in Game 5? Can they show up on the court and not melt down in the first half, a la the Minnesota Timberwolves? Maybe. I think it's more likely at Madison Square Garden. I would like the Knicks first half line. I would be drawn to that. But whether it's a game-winning shot, breakout performance, there's never been a better time to get in the action at FanDuel in this exciting sports time of the year. Stay in the game. Bet before the game or bet it live. Player props, same-game parlays, many dozens, hundreds of wagering options at FanDuel. If you're new, perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com. Place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Bet 5, win that, get $200. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Let's get to Ron Johnson, host of the Ron Johnson Show. Was on the Wednesday edition of the Football Party, joins us every Thursday. Ron, we start with a non-Vikings question. Been meaning to get your opinion on this. Just the sudden and unexpected passing of Jim Irsay. You were on the Colts coaching staff, obviously. You have to remind us of the year that was. But, I mean, how did that strike you? Did you have any interactions with Jim and sort of understand his impact on that organization?
Yeah, no, he was so the one thing I remember about Jim Irsay first was when Tony Dungy reached out for me to come be a coach, it was under the minority internship that the NFL had put out. And so normally you have to go through this rigor, of essays and letters and whatever. And, Dungy basically told Irsay, like, hey, his dad played with me with the Steelers, 2-time Super Bowl champ, blah, blah. Like he played for the Ravens. We played against him a couple of times when the Ravens visited coach. He's like, and I think Ron would be a great help to our rookies this camp. Didn't have to go through anything. He just greenlit it, said, cool. Fast forward, Dungy retires. I leave. Jim Caldwell takes over as head coach. I get a call in the offseason. Hey, we have some coaches making some transitions, moving into new roles. Do you want to come in and be a coach? No interview, no nothing. I'd already been a part of the staff before. Walk in, Jim Irsay, contract signed, no like, and not to say, and I think more maybe it spoke to my character, my dad and my family and stuff, but like no background check, no like, hey, you gotta sit down and talk to 7 coaches. He just allowed Jim Caldwell to make the decision. Myself, Jim Bob Cooter, and I think it was Frank Winters was the other coach, with open doors. And I remember sitting down, and even when they let me go, it was because the NFL's ruling of how many coaches they could have. And then the Howard Mudd, Tom Moore story, basically those two became offensive executive assistants because that was what you had to do. You had to retire in order to not have your 401k hit. For those that don't know the NFL 401k, we were matched 2-1. And then there was a time where you can get 3-1, meaning if you put $12,500 in, they will give you $30,000. They'll match up to $10,000, 2-1, 3-1. And it's a ridiculous match. Like no other company in the world does that.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And so for me, I was a max out guy every year. So if you do the math, you put $32,500 into the 401k every single year. Well, think about these coaches that like are in their 80s. So you're talking millions of dollars that they're like, hey, we're going to hit you unless you retire. So that was the loophole. We're going to retire and we will be offensive executive assistants. And so then when the NFL came back and said, well, hey, here's what we're going to do with their 401ks, you know, Jim Irsay was like, hey, we got 27 coaches. And you and Frank, you know, we're probably going to let you go. But, you know, he was real like upfront about it. He didn't say it had anything to do with anything besides, it was the numbers. It doesn't make sense to have you and Clyde Christensen doing receivers when Clyde's not really doing offensive coordinator because Tom Moore is going to be offensive coordinator now again. And so I appreciated the honesty with it, you know, and he still paid me out. Like they still were like, hey, here's your contract, which I don't know how it ended up on the internet, but I ended up seeing it later that somebody posted like what we got paid. But you know, he still honored my contract. You know, I was joking with Sam about that on the show yesterday that, you know, as I'm going through stuff, doing taxes and throwing away old stuff, I had like old tax returns from 2007, 8, 9. There's like checks in there from Jim Irsay, you know, of course, and that's the same with the Vikings. Like my Vikings checks say the Wilfs on it. Mark and Ziggy Wilfs signed my checks for the Vikings, but it was just funny that happened. And then I saw the video of Reggie Wayne, and I remember Reggie, like that was one of Jim's guys. Like Reggie, he let Reggie do the whole like training camp show up with the crazy, you know, the tank, the helicopter, the briefcase, the construction hard hat. And that was Reggie's way of entering training camp. And as an owner, he never once said like, hey man, tone it down, or hey man, don't be like, he was legit. Like and then when it came to like little stuff, he set up a golf course that was right by the complex, probably 10-minute drive. Every day after practice, you can go golf for free because Jim Irsay and the coach set this up with his golf course. And you just have to call over saying, hey, this is so-and-so. I'm one of the coaches with the coach or the players, whatever. Boom. No charge. You just go out there, you grab a cart, you and whoever else is with you, and you just golf. Like and so like all that little stuff and that's why Reggie Wayne probably teared up, because I'm pretty sure with him, I mean, he's a freaking blue jacket, you know, Hall of Famer. So he probably did way more above and beyond for Reggie. And Reggie had other stuff we know, like off the field when he was younger and whatever, and not like crazy, just, you know, hey, Reggie's going to be out or Reggie's going to do this. We got to take care of him. And Jim Irsay never once wavered in his support for Reggie Wayne. And I think that's like, I just remember that. Like he was all, and same with Tony. Like he allowed Tony to have the family atmosphere, bringing the families in the complex, kids in the complex. Like I had never seen that before, where kids are like literally running through the hallway as we're getting ready for meetings. But that's what Tony wanted. And he told Jim Irsay why. Like, I want my coaches not to worry about their families at home by themselves for 8 hours. Like, if your kid needs to come over here and do homework, have them come over here and do homework. Have them come sit in their office. And that's what it was like. And Jim Irsay allowed that to happen. So that's cool, because you don't see that a lot, where guys open up their doors for the families.
Yeah, those are good stories. Thanks, Ron, for sharing all that. I want to do a quick around the horn back to the Vikings here. And Ron, you can kick it off. Just like 10, 20 seconds on what position battle do you think is going to take the longest to sort through? So you might have some battles here in OTAs that get resolved quickly, and training camp's not really a battle. You might have some that go until like the first week of the season. Like, what battle, whether it's backup QB, CB3, wide receiver 3, what battle do you think will come down to the wire, Ron? We'll go around the horn and start with you.
Yeah, I think cornerback 2 and 3. I don't think 2's even locked up. I think Byron Murphy is the quote unquote 1. I think figuring out between Isaiah Rodgers, you got Ambry Thomas, you got Jeff Okudah, you got Mekhi Blackman now. I heard you guys talking about he's back on the field. Like, those 4 guys are fighting for 2 spots to decide who's going to be CB2 and CB3. I think that's going to still come down to the wire. I don't think they're going to have a true answer until they kind of see these guys, you know, not even New England, but maybe New England's week, because you get a lot more like full go periods. And so maybe that's the week they kind of say, okay, these 2 guys have shown they deserve to start on the field.
Yeah, I would echo that. I think cornerback is going to be probably the fiercest battle, and
unless Jalen Ramsey somehow finds a magical, you know,
right,
millions of dollars and finds his way into Minnesota. Like, I think that's if we're set where we're at, yeah, it's coming down to those 2.
If there is like a Stephon Gilmore-ish signing to come, that'll change the equation. But especially if there's an injury that occurs in camp, like if someone misses time, it's going to make it real interesting with who ends up starting there. Luke, Braun, do you think it's that, or do you think it's something else?
I was going to go with punt and kick returner. That feels like one that's going to take a long time to go together. Limited preseason reps at that whole thing, right? You always start camp with like 7 people taking reps, and then like every day someone muffs one, and then they're not back the next day. But there's a lot of guys like there's a lot of guys to sort through. So I feel like it could take a while between like Ty Felton could have the job. Silas Bolden could have the job. I'm sure like Ty Chandler will be back there. A bunch of the like undrafted rookie type receivers and corners. Javier Thomas might be back. Like everybody might be back there to start. And it's probably not the thing you get any progress done in OTAs at all. So it'll probably take a while and maybe even take throughout. Like it might take somebody having a good punt return in the preseason to win that job.
How much would it cost to bring back Marcus Sherrills? Get the pads back on, right? It feels like that's the most consistent. That is the most consistent punt returner we've had.
We need to ask Tom Brady what his blood boy is up to so that we can like inject some youth into Marcus Sherrills, you know.
I like the fact that Luke pointed out that kick return job. I don't think we've talked about that enough, but I will echo Ron's testament as well. And I will say cornerback 2, 3, and 4, and maybe even wide receiver 3, 4, and 5 as well. Both those sides of the ball just feel very muddy. There's a lot of dudes back there. We know the names, but like how it's all going to shake out from now to week 1, and even as the season progresses, especially if Jordan Addison does get suspended to start the year, but how those depth charts shake out past the top 1 or 2 guys, I'm very keyed in on, because I think, again, it's just going to look different with so many new bodies and faces. We didn't know, are we going to bring back Shaq Griffin in training camp? What's that all going to look like? Jalen Ramsey's been floated out there, but as of now, the guys we have on paper, it just seems like a total grab bag, and it literally feels like best man's going to win these jobs at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think I think the answer for scrimmage players is cornerback, but I think it is worth paying attention to, wide receiver 3, 4, and 5, because while I'm pretty confident Jalen Naylor is going to make the roster, it's not necessarily as wide receiver 3, and more interesting is kind of what's going to happen at 4 and 5. Obviously special teams is going to play a role there, right? But, you've got a number of receivers that have stuck around camp for a while as, prior year undrafted free agents, people who've been on practice squads, stuff like that, who've got a lot of experience with the team. You've got that, new draft pick, Ty Felton. You've brought in Rondale Moore, who, you won't even be able to see compete for a little bit as he continues to recover from injury. So I don't really know what the team's vision for what that wide receiver room is going to look like, whether they're going to even carry 5 or maybe they'll go up to 6 or 7, right? So I think that one kind of deserves a little bit of airtime, because we just have no idea, whether or not Rondale Moore is a bubble guy, or whether or not they, see him as a guy that's definitely going to make the roster, whether or not they see, Ty Felton as somebody who's going to contribute right away as a 5th round rookie, which is not, or 3rd round rookie, which is not always the case. I think that, bringing in somebody like a Tim Jones, who a lot of people like a lot, but, you might not figure out where the room for him on the roster could be. So I think that one kind of is going to be enough of an interesting mystery during that training camp that we're going to see some changes over the course of, this offseason here.
Braun, what do you got?
Ron, if you were on a boat, if you were hypothetically committing some sort of illicit activity, not accusing anybody of anything, but if you were,
of course, would
you let someone film it?
No. Next question.
Cool.
All right. Yeah. Well, now that we got that cleared up, okay.
But the fact that there were cameras,
yeah,
it probably was not illicit. It's not probably.
Well, pink was an interesting color, right?
Pink is an interesting color. It's
well, I looked that up, and that's like some kind. It's not cocaine, so I will say that. When you Google what that is, it's like it's Cameron has it. It's called like pink something horse or something. It's actually like it's like a.
That's what Ray Lewis was using.
Like an aphrodisiac type thing. So if you go Google Cameron, Google Cameron CNN interview, he has it on CNN.
Sam, pull that up.
It's in the canister. It's called pink something,
and you can buy this at gas stations.
Yeah. And it's called, or I don't know about gas stations, but it's called
nerds. Is it just like a bag
you
of
can legally
nerds
purchase
from this? And it's supposed to help men. It's supposed to help men the theory that are going to have a long night. Is what it.
Right. Thought Stefan was in a committed monogamous relationship.
She was there.
She was
on the boat.
That's not That's
also
committed in. Well, I don't know if I would use.
But if you Google what she's been about with her previous relationships, it sounds like
it sounds like they've got a more unorthodox understanding.
Correct.
Of
Yeah.
Sounds like she's been in these situations where she's
a modern
okay with-
situation.
Yeah.
For
she's
those
okay
Right,
with
yeah,
this.
modern
For those
situation.
confused, this is Stefan Diggs on a boat with women and some kind of substance. That's all we know.
Yeah, Cameron.
Something-
Like I said, Cameron had it on CNN, and he said basically it helped him take care of a woman all night. So it's called
Yeah,
pink something.
yeah,
I'm so glad I
I-
asked about this.
I assume you meant like manual labor, like lifting boxes. I mean,
Correct.
this is a family show.
Correct.
Right?
Could be
Ron
lifting
almost
involved.
wasn't going to answer, and we just got him to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, I mean, because
Reporting.
like I googled it too, and I was trying to figure it out, and then
Of
when
course.
I started doing it, everybody's like, "Oh, that's," I forgot what it's called, but they were like, "Oh, that's whatever." And then as you start googling and reading the tweets, it sounds like that's what it is. It's like Afro. It's like eating oysters, but times 40.
Right. And probably equally as tested.
Correct.
Yeah, well regulated.
No regulations.
Luke Inman, where are you going to take it next?
Yeah, tough to follow
Yeah.
that. Tough to
Yeah.
follow that. I'll bring it back to the gridiron, to the football field. A lot of optimism, I think, about the Vikings roster this year, just given all the big names they brought in.
Mhm.
I think when I try to play devil's advocate, what could go wrong or maybe not live up to the off-season hype or expectations? Obviously, everybody thinks JJ McCarthy in his first season. That's where everybody's mind goes. But number
Mhm.
2 for me, Ron, is just
Mhm.
offense is starting to crack the code of Brian Flores' defense, maybe. Like it kind of felt like at the end of last year versus the Lions and Rams. What if anything, I guess, worries you when you think about the Vikings defense from last year to now, whether it's schematically or even player personnel wise?
So I haven't watched much of that Lions game, to be honest. Like I watched some of the red zone stuff. Sam knows that. We talked about those 11 plays in the red zone, and everybody was saying, Sam Darnold throw the ball. Not Sam Darnold's fault.
Yeah.
That's really the only thing I didn't watch the Lions offense. Maybe I'll do that as we get closer to the summer. When it's starting to time to start talking about that.
Mhm.
But I did watch a ton of Rams because that was the game where I asked Blake Cashman some questions. I asked Brian Flores some questions, and here's where I go with that. I'm not gonna say people figured it out. I think what's happening is the player. So he does give the players autonomy, and I asked Blake Cashman this, and Sam remembers that. And the one play I'm gonna bring up, I'm not gonna talk about all of it. I'm gonna talk about one play because we know this is part of it. I'm not giving anything away. Stephon Gilmore is motioning with Tyler Johnson. If I'm Stephon Gilmore and I'm motioning with Tyler Johnson, speed on speed, I probably have a better chance on Tyler Johnson than Tutu Atwell. Gilmore, instead of staying with Tyler Johnson, he decides to do the wave up thing to the deep corner, and he's going to play safety. So he was making it look like man, and then instead of staying man, and then he becomes the sit down flat corner, he wanted to make it look cute and play safety. He gave it away. When he ran back to play safety, Stafford knew, I'm just taking the corner route because it's cover 2. Everybody knows if you have a
You're
flat
just playing invert. Yeah.
correct. If you know it's going cover 2 and I got a corner and I got a flat or a corner and a stop or whatever, or a zigzag, whatever you want to call it, or an arrow route, I'm taking the corner. And when that cornerback playing safety runs 50 yards down the field, there's no threat. It's like playing 7-on-7. So what I will say is I think Brian Flores is what he's going to do is hopefully with these younger, quicker corners, be able to teach them that they don't need to always get cute, because he does give them the ability. And Josh Metellus talked about that. And Cam Bynum talked about it. He's like, man, I know if Harrison is going to do this, I got to do this. And if Harrison wants to do this, I got to do this. So they all kind of have pieces where Harrison might run up and play linebacker and go, or he might run up and cover the tight end. Well, now Cam Bynum knows, okay, I'm the deep third. That's the only reason I think teams are figuring it out. It became too predictable where players, instead of just keeping it simple and knowing, okay, I can keep up with Tyler Johnson, there's no need for me to run back and get out of position. There's already a guy sitting at 12 yards. So, yeah, I think, though, and again, those are the only 2 teams. Every other team still had problems. You just dealt with 2 smart quarterbacks and 2 smart coaches. You dealt with Ben Johnson, who understands how to break down teams, and you're talking about Sean McVay, who birthed Kevin O'Connell. So I think that's what happened.
Ron, who had a worse end to their season, by the way, the Timberwolves or the Vikings in that Rams game?
Oh,
BOFUM, both of them. So getting beat by 30, I would probably say the Timberwolves. Also, I mean, I understand Anthony Edwards' response to it. I didn't like his comment, though, saying that he's not hurt. It's okay to hurt. That's that masculinity side of him right now, being young, that men in this mental health world don't know how to be vulnerable. And that's why Rachel Barabo, we had her on the show. That's why teams, the SEC, PJ Fleck, Texas, South Carolina, Jimbo Fisher was at Florida State. No, he's at Texas A&M now. Right? Jimbo Fisher still at, or is he gone from there too? I know you got like a $10 million.
I can't keep track of the
Carolina. You got like a 10-year, $80 million deal with Texas A&M. So maybe he's gone. But Jimbo Fisher uses her. Dabo Sweeney at Clemson uses her.
Between jobs right now.
Okay. And she talks about that, taking that armor off, being able to be vulnerable when you have to be vulnerable. It's okay. Because what's going to happen is Ant's going to go home and now have to deal with that void of like, I'm not in the playoffs anymore. I wish you would just say, yeah, it hurts. Like, it does hurt. It sucks to lose 2 years in a row and not make it to the championship. What kind of dumb question is that? I'm good, but yes, it hurts. Versus like, I don't know why people keep saying, does it hurt? Like, I'm good. Like, I hurt. I'm more mad because Mike Conley's not. No, dude, you're hurt. You're not mad because Mike Conley didn't make it. You're hurt. Just be hurt. And so that's the only thing. So that's why I say I think the Vikings dealt with the pain of just like, yeah, we didn't do it. We got our butts kicked. Will we be better next year? Let's move on. Like, that's the only reason why I say I think the Timberwolves went out lame, because they're not some of the players aren't owning the hurt of this 2 years in a row making it to the Western Conference Finals. But again, I see numbers. People talk about what was Shea Gilgeous-Alexander doing at 23-24. What was Michael Jordan doing at 23-24? So Anthony Edwards is ahead of the curve, getting to the Western Conference Finals twice already. But I hope he realized, because he's like, I got 10, 20 more years to play. You might not ever make it back, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
but yeah.
So like making that comment means nothing. Like, don't think that you're not Steph Curry and you don't got Draymond and Clay. Like, you gotta, and they don't even know if Julius Randle's coming back. So yeah, I gotta go with them.
Fair enough. So Kevin O'Connell called it, called OTAs primarily like a passing camp. We were just discussing like what JJ McCarthy would need to do in order to kind of, whatever, right? I want to know how much you can actually develop a young quarterback's passing game in OTAs, given all of the restrictions on like the ways that you can practice, the amount of time you can practice. What do you think?
Mental. That's it. Learning the playbook like the back of his hand, going over situations, working on wristband stuff. So he understands, hey, if it's 1st and 10, here's the 2 plays. If you get to 2nd and 10, just run this play. If you get to 2nd and 2, run this play. If we're going to go hustle, hurry. So what you're doing is you're creating a computer system for him to be able to unload and download whatever information he needs. And this is the only time like you really can just do it nonstop, get the situation set up. That's it. Because then like once the bullets actually start flying, can he keep track of all that? Like Peyton Manning, Tom Moore used to give Peyton Manning 2 to 3 plays in his helmet. And we've all heard this story. But like being in the headset as a coach, hearing it was nuts. But he would give Peyton Manning 2 to 3 plays in his helmet. And then Clyde Christensen and the offensive line coach would give him the last thing, which is here's the 2 protections you got to worry about. So scat, which is basically or scram. So scat was, I think, left and scram was right. I can't remember, but I think that's what it was. And so that's your 2 options. And then, the number of letters too, because like scram was a 5-step protection because it was 5 letters in it. And so here's your options.
Football, man.
Yeah, they try to make it simple by making it hard. Like how many letters are in the protection?
Yeah, no, that's classic.
Scram is 5 letters. It's 5-step protection. But scram would be right. 5-step protection. But Peyton would come to the line literally all 3 plays. Nobody else knows but him. Only thing the offensive line knows is the protection. So I know I got a 5-step drop protection. Now he would have to unload, and plan stuff. That's the only thing I think that JJ McCarthy can get good at is that side of the game. Like, how can I make sure when the game is going that I'm not going to have a brain fart? I mean, again, I hate to bring up seeing ghosts, but just think about that. There are some quarterbacks that go through that. Think about he's not an idiot. That's a bad word. Really good guy, Phil Simms, right? Or is it Chris Sims? Chris Sims. Remember the Chris Sims and what's his name? Chucky. My coach.
Oh, the clip going around.
Yeah,
Gruden
play call.
Catch him
Jay
out.
Gruden was my coach. Yeah, John Gruden. Yeah, like he was trying to give him the play call and during shorts and t-shirts, and he couldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like, and so that's what I think this is about too. How also that play call was stupid. That's way too many words. Like
my understanding.
I feel like KOCs are long too.
He said later that it was a prank, and I don't know how much I believe that, given how angry
I don't believe him at all.
Yeah,
Who
said it was a prank?
Chris, play call had a specific route for every
Gruden
receiver.
said it was a prank. No, it wasn't a prank.
There was no shorthand at all.
Yeah, that was not short because he said, like, he literally said Z sit, F angle, like that was a play. Like you can't tell me that
every single
I think now, like the fact that they're both in the media and they both have to coexist, I think he's trying to make it because it looks really bad too for him. Like
it does.
If I'm a coach, because I love PJ Fleck's thought of this. Because PJ Fleck, everybody's heard this story. He's coached 6th grade, whatever. I think social studies or something. Yeah. And he said I had to find 30 ways to teach 36 graders how to learn. Sometimes I can get 2 to 3 to learn the same way. He said, but if I can't, I just got to come up with ways for everybody to understand. That's what John Gruden lacked. He was such a hard ass that he refused to like make it simple. And Pete Burgess and I talk about this all the time. West Coast versus normal. West Coast was real wordsy and it had a lot of words to it and it put the pressure on the quarterback and it made the other players' job simple. Here's the reasoning behind this. And this is old NFL. That's why they thought black quarterbacks weren't smart enough to do that because they wanted to give them a ton of crap. And they were like, oh, these guys aren't smart enough. Who's the skill guys? Black guys. They're not smart enough. We got to give them everything. Who changed that narrative? Tony Dungy was one of the first. And then Denny Green was another. And Dick Vermeil. I'm not going to hate on Dick Vermeil with the Rams. Or was it the Chiefs with Tony? No, it was the Rams. Wherever Tony was with Dick Vermeil. But that's when it started to change. People started getting away from the old San Francisco wordsy wash type of stuff. And they started getting to this like, hey, Dick Vermeil came up with a smart way. Tony Dungy has it. Schottenheimer has it. Denny Green has it. And now we see what some of this stuff is where you see Kevin O'Connell just say, hey, zip 383. Boom, done. That's a simple play. I got the 3. I got the 8. I got the 3. You got the zip route. Done. Like that's simple. And that's where I think that changed the narrative. But yeah, John Gruden to say that, they're just both in the media. He's trying to be nice. That's not real.
Ron, you're the best. Appreciate it. At 3 Ron Johnson. He hosts the Ron Johnson Show Tuesdays, and he's on our football party Wednesday.
And we have confirmed we have a Vikings player this Tuesday.
Yes.
The names that I was given was either Theo Jackson, Ty Felton, or a question mark. So I don't know who the question mark is.
Question mark's exciting.
Mystery box.
Could be a mystery box. But Ty Felton, again, because guys know this. If somebody gets hurt, if somebody gets in trouble over the weekend, they're not going to let them talk to the media. So I'm hoping and praying all these guys just go back to their hotel, go to the Omni, and just go to sleep this weekend. Do not mess it up for us on Tuesday. But yeah, Ty Felton, Theo Jackson, or question mark. So
that will be awesome. Thank you, Ron. Great stuff. And we'll talk to you soon.
And if that's true, I will text this panel because I will throw one question to those guys from each of you. I'll say, hey, the Locked On Sports football party guys have one question.
I'll think about it
from each of you. So I'll let you guys know. I think Sam and I should know hopefully by Sunday, the guy, or maybe Monday. And then I'll text you guys like Monday morning or something with who it is and what your question might be. So
love it.
Yeah, a little mystery question. Put them on a hot seat. Don't make it like too long though. Don't ask them about the boat and Stephon Diggs, please.
That was just for you, Ron.
Both the Vikings don't go together, and then Stephon Diggs doesn't go together.
Yeah, it was sordid history.
Can we ask them if they know why boats and Vikings don't go together?
Stephon Diggs could have done the funniest thing ever, though. He should have went on the boat when he was a Viking. Like he missed his opportunity to be double famous. He would have been double viral.
For sure.
Like he missed his opportunity.
Thanks so much, Ron. We appreciate it.
Can't take the Minnetonka. What did it say?
You can take the man out of the Minnetonka, but can't take the Minnetonka out of the man.
That's so good. That's so good.
Oh, that's a good one, James. All right.
Thank you, James.
You guys have a good one.
Thank you, Ron.
See you, Ron.
Easy. Yep. Quick pause. Be back with a quick 4-minute drill, and Name Drop returns.
Start the clock. It's time to execute the 4-minute drill.
I would like one surprise offseason move the Vikings could make. A cut, probably, veteran cut, someone unexpected. Let's stir it up. I think Luke Braun usually is good at this. I don't know why. I feel like you've got the spidey sense on this one, so I'm going to start with you.
I think I have a decent spidey sense for like 53-man roster stuff, but I'm going to go totally off the wall here. I'm going to say the Vikings trade for Jalen Ramsey.
Trade
you
for
need
Jalen
a really
Ramsey.
washed corner. He kind of wants out. It's kind of a thing. Let's get another veteran presence in there that can compete and ultimately disappoint on the expectations that come with his name.
Now, wasn't Ramsey's contract like untenable though down the road? I mean, wouldn't this put them in a terrible cap situation?
I have a feeling that situation that contract would not stay as is.
Yeah.
You can always
let me look up the contract.
Plus, we are days away from it being a post June 1st trade, which does ease the burden a little bit.
Yes,
I do think you're right, though, Sam. I'm assuming that contract was just absolutely backloaded. And the timing
there's 3 years that probably aren't. That'll probably just turn into voided years. It'll be. I could imagine the Dolphins taking on some money there. Like I don't think that you would inherit the whole thing. But the match makes sense. You just have to you have to come to some sort of agreement with the Dolphins and Ramsey himself about the money.
As is, you would have to eat 18 million dead after this season to save 7 million on the cap next year.
I think it's really cool
a lot of that would stay with Miami.
I think it's really cool.
There's no guaranteed salary after this season.
Okay, yeah.
Is that true?
I like that the Vikings keep on adding washed Hall of Famers at cornerback. I want to keep that one going.
An honored tradition, yeah.
Terrence, Stefan.
Yep.
Well, I mean, Patrick
Peterson.
Right?
You gotta have. There must be one in Minnesota. Looking at this contract, so a lot of that dead money stays with Miami. You have 24 mil guaranteed this year. That in guaranteed salary this year, that's like set up in prorated signing bonus or in like option bonuses and stuff. But I believe a lot of that money stays with Miami, and you can negotiate that it will stay with Miami. And say, hey, we're not doing this deal if you don't do this, which if things are really broken in Miami, you have the leverage to do that, to make that demand.
All right, Jalen.
Would love to know that compensation too. Can you get him for a day 3 pick? Are they just trying to get rid of him at this point and unload that contract?
I think it would be a day 3 pick.
I'd be all about that.
Well, so long as we're playing around with trades, I think it'd be fun to kind of test out the league's respect for Kevin O'Connell's impact on quarterbacks and see if he can immediately flip Sam Howell before he spends even a game day.
You got to flip Brett Rippon, who's been with him for a little bit. O'Connell's been cooking him, you know? He hasn't had any time to do anything with Howell. You got to make this question next year.
That's the test, right? He hasn't had any time to do anything with Howell. Does that just being in the building during OTAs count? So the take is trade a quarterback, but the case I'm making is for Sam Howell. Because it would be so funny to flip, what was it, a 5th into future 5th? I don't remember anymore.
It was a 5th and then like a stupid pick swap that didn't matter, like 30 picks in the round or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It was a 5th round pick swap.
So, right. It was a straight up 5th round. It wasn't. They didn't even give up.
It was literally move back 30, get Sam Howell.
Yeah. So if you could turn that into just a straight up 5th, right? I see that as a win, right? So I think obviously Brett Rippon is the trade candidate here, but I think that it would be so funny if by the end of the offseason, just by spending some time in training camp, a team is like, well, he did spend some time with Kevin O'Connell. Look what that guy did with Josh Dobbs. I think trading, even if it's a Jesse Davis trade, just trading away Sam Howell before he even spends 1 week during the season on the roster with the Vikings would be maybe the funniest thing he could possibly do.
He touched the garment of Kevin O'Connell, and he was magically worth a 5th round pick. Speaking of day 3 picks and the Jesse Davis trade,
job.
Say that again.
Nothing.
Okay, don't worry about it.
What about trading Blake Brandel? So if Donovan Jackson is given the left guard job day 1, Blake Brandel turns into a pretty high end swing. What if there's a team, though, in need of a relatively proven offensive line starter who's willing to give up a 5th round pick for 2 years of cheap team control of Blake Brandel? This is a good asset to have. And I don't know your depth situation. That's my one question. I don't know if Juergens can be a guy on the interior. I don't know if you have a UDFA who can be a guy on the interior. I don't love the interior depth, but I like the trade asset. If you have Donovan Jackson, who is going to be an easy week 1 insertion, Blake Brandel trade before September 1st.
You'd have to feel really good about Michael.
You got to feel great.
You'd have to feel great. Because if I'm another team
or Rouse,
and if I'm another team and someone offers Blake Brandel for a 5th, I'm taking that immediately. I think that's a great, which makes me worry about the value proposition on the Viking side. So you would have to be super, super confident in, the whole that whole group, right? Like Justin School and Cam Jurgens, and like with everybody, right? So that one's tough. But hey, you can't get a 3rd for him. Maybe you could get a 4th. I don't know, but that's a difficult.
If the price point gets right, if somebody's really desperate, right, and we know obviously the heavy emphasis on the interior offensive line throughout the entire league, right, copycat league, watching the Eagles win the Super Bowl. If the price is right, maybe you could be tempted, but again, to you guys' point, you got to feel great, and I get where your mind was going there, Sam, because that's kind of like the one only guy or position group that like has a former starter that's young, cheap, and then would make a lot of sense for another team looking for a starter. Outside of that, I'm looking at the depth chart. Outside of that, it's tough to find any other possible trade candidates that the Vikings would trade away and try to get some draft compensation.
Correct.
Yeah, I'd be pretty nervous about exiting Blake Brandel off of this interior, because that means like if anyone goes down, and you're not that lucky, someone's going down, you are like trotting out Michael Jurgens or Walter Rouse.
No. You're calling Dalton Reisner. That's what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it is. Okay, call Dalton Reisner, trade Blake Brandel. Okay, that's the vision.
Right. Yeah. No, I actually, now that you say that.
right after you trade for Cam Akers for a 3rd time, you call Dalton Reisner. Good things come in 3s.
I was gonna say it feels like they could definitely. It's tough to find a surprise cut on here. I was going to throw out Rondell Moore just in case the knee is just not up to speed.
Yeah, I was going to say Rondell Moore didn't feel
like
he
can't cut, man. I mean, if he can't cut on that knee like he used to be able to, that's going to be tough sledding for him. But outside of that, tough to find like surprise cuts. But I will say I'm just not convinced that the tight end room is going to look like this 1 through 4 by the time we get to week 1. I don't know if they bring somebody in who it is, but as much 12 and even sometimes 13 personnel that they run. And knowing that over a long 17-game schedule, somebody gets dinged up like Hawkinson or Oliver for a couple games. I just don't think they love that depth back there right now with a rookie, Gavin Bartholomew, day 3 pick, and then Brian Nesbitt. I just don't see it. So I think they bring somebody in from tight end.
NFL pedigree.
Maybe even running back too, but I feel more confident of the 2 position groups that they bring somebody in from tight end.
Yeah. We got about 10 minutes left. Let's play Name Drop.
How fast can you think? It's time for the most chaotic game in the Viking podcast sphere. It's Name Drop.
If you're new, Name Drop. I give the prompts. They're all Vikings related. These guys go around the horn. They have 5 seconds to answer. If they miss or they say a duplicate answer to the criteria, they are out. Somebody gets the point at the end of the round. We have 5 prompts. The category today, historical Vikings accomplishments. So, for example, our first prompt will be Vikings with 30 career rushing or receiving touchdowns. That's just with the Vikings. That's for
just with the Vikings.
Career.
Just with the Vikings.
Just with
okay.
The Vikings, and we will have 5 prompts.
Rushing or receiving touchdowns?
Rushing, not combined. It's too hard for me to calculate combined, but I have 30 rushing or 30 receiving.
Okay.
All right.
That does change things.
Sorry, wait a minute. Say 30 rushing, 30 receiving career for the Vikings?
Career for the Vikings. Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Got it? Feel good?
Sure.
Nope. Let's go.
Inman, what's the song that we like on the provided song list? No. Dance pop?
The options aren't great.
The options are great.
Feeding the ducks? Feeding the ducks is kind of nice. A little kind of lo-fi. Let's go with it.
Aligning.
So it's Stephon Diggs listens to on the boat.
Where's Ja Rule?
Where's Ja Rule?
Where's Ja?
All right, Luke Braun, you go. You'll be the first to start. We'll rotate who starts, but you can go first. Again, 30 rushing or 30 receiving touchdowns.
My all-time fave, Chris Carter.
Yep. Got it.
Randy Moss.
Yep.
APAD.
Yep.
There you go.
97.
How about Chuck Foreman?
Yes.
Adam Thielen.
Yep. He's pretty high. He's third on the receiving.
Oh yeah, he would always get the touchdown.
Yeah.
Kyle Rudolph.
Oh.
Yep. 48.
Give it to me. Give it
48.
to me.
Anthony Carter.
Yes. Fourth in receiving.
Stephon Diggs.
Exactly 30.
Woo!
Okay, so that's the line. All right.
Got to
A
answer.
lot of ideas, and I don't like any of them.
Yeah.
Buzz.
That's a fast buzzer.
Inman, was that you blanking? Did you not have an answer there?
Am I up? I thought Arif was
Oh,
Jesus.
c-
He
convenient
said Diggs,
now.
and then it was your turn.
up. What?
Yeah, he said it was your turn.
Arif said Diggs. I said yes, exactly 30.
Got it. Okay. All right, you ready?
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
I don't even have a
know.
good one. Michael Bennett. I got nothing.
All right. Let's see. With that, I gotta eliminate you, but Bennett would have not counted anyway. So
Okay,
he had
well.
12. He had 12 career rushing. So Inman's out. Inman's out this round. Braun.
Dalvin Cook.
Yes.
Made me sweat that one.
I thought you were frozen.
Okay, because that was going to be my next one, and I had no idea.
Yeah, this is where we're at now. Now I'm at people I cannot be sure about.
Yeah. Robert Smith.
Robert Smith, 32.
Oh man.
Steve Jordan.
Oh, actually, that makes a lot of sense.
Steve Jordan,
Really?
28.
Okay, 'cause I didn't have squat for the next one.
Too short. Really? Ring of Honor.
Wow.
28.
28. Oh, Rudolph's
Stevie
been said.
touchdowns.
Yeah.
PhD.
So there's no way Shanko, right? So
I was thinking
You get the
Shanko.
point. Arif gets the point, by the way.
yeah. I
Yeah, I was
I'm not
thinking.
looking for that.
Is there anybody else really old? Is there like a random John Gilliam in there?
Yeah, I was about to say like John.
But
Dean
Gilliam.
I'm just
Washington.
I'm gonna rattle through who you
Yeah.
missed. Sammy White. Did anyone say Justin Jefferson?
I did. I thought about it, and I thought it's too young still. I didn't think he got to 30 yet
Way.
because he won like 8 games last year without a touchdown.
Ahmad
Yeah.
Rashad.
Ahmad
Jake
Rashad.
Reed.
Jake Reed.
Jake
Oh.
Reed. I was thinking about Jake Reed. Ah.
Yeah.
The one running back you missed was Ted Brown.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, that's
If
a point
I
for
were to
Arif.
guess a running back named Brown, I would have gone with Bill Brown, and I would have gotten it wrong. So
Boom, boom, Bill.
Spirited round. Next prompt: 10 career interceptions. Let me get this up. Hold on. 10 career interceptions. We start this time with Arif.
as in they caught the interception.
Yep. Sorry. Defensive
Okay.
interception.
Not thrown interception.
Yeah.
That would be
Paul
a funny
Krause.
one.
Yeah.
Paul Krause.
Christian
that is
Ponder.
number one. Number
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, that will be number 1 forever and ever.
Dirty Harry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Joey Browner.
Yep. Number 4.
And now,
Now the games begin.
Yeah, Xavier Rhodes. Yeah,
Xavier
a
Rhodes,
good
you
one.
said?
yeah.
Good one.
Exactly 10. Yeah.
Oh,
Wow. Winfield.
21.
Bobby Bones Bryant.
Yep. 51.
Triple B.
Yep.
We always
That's
talk
second,
about
second
that.
in,
We're
in
growing up.
franchise
We're in Braun's
history.
wheelhouse. Carl Lee.
7th on the
shoot.
list. Yes.
Brian Russell.
Wow.
11.
All 1 year.
Basically.
Sendejo? I don't know.
I think that's going to be a miss.
Yeah, I'm out.
He had 8. Close. Braun's out. Arif.
How many are left?
Man.
Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot.
This is
Really? Yikes.
there is.
Oh, God dang it. Oh, I forgot.
Okay.
Got to answer.
Trey Waynes.
7 career. So no. That's
Okay, I'm not confident about this one, but I'm going to throw it out there anyways. It was the other.
You win already.
Oh, I do?
Yeah.
You win, but who were you
By
going to say?
default? Corey Chavis.
Yeah.
Corey Chavis. Yeah, that would have been it. Yep, that would have been good.
I forgot about linebackers. I just forgot entirely about the position of linebacker.
Oh, yeah, so did I, actually.
Yeah. Greenway, Kendricks is probably up there. Wally Hilgenberg, maybe.
Greenway would have been
Matt Blair been up
Hilgenberg.
there?
I don't know. Who else? Kendricks, did you say? Kendricks.
Kendricks.
Was one short.
Oh, wow. Really? Oh, yeah. No,
High
really?
profile
Off, they're
ones.
coming to me.
So
Yeah.
Ed Schrockman would have been 3rd on the list. Nate Wright. Orlando Thomas.
Yeah, the Wright brothers.
Nate Wright.
That was the next.
Orlando Thomas. Yeah.
John Turner was 9th. He played for a decade. Audrey McMillan. Darren Sharper. Don't like talking about him. Robert Griffith. Those are some of the. All right, so
Robert
1-1.
Griffin.
Okay,
Robert
I'm not happy with
Okay.
myself on that one.
was
I
rough.
could have. Yeah.
All right, next prompt. We're going to go 20 career sacks. We start with Inman. Name drop.
Jared Allen.
Correct.
I'm going to take Alan Page away from Arif.
Oh. Jim Marshall. Yeah.
Yep.
EG.
I'll grab Carl Eller.
Yes,
Brian Robinson.
Yep.
Kevin Williams.
Yep. Number 10.
Chris Dolman.
Yes. Number 5.
Daniil.
Number 6.
Man. Kendricks.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
15
That's
career sacks.
Tough.
Okay.
Tough.
Okay. Yep.
All right. Braun and Arif. Braun, ready, go.
Keith Millard.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Yep.
Do we say John Randall?
Come on.
I was like, hey, wait, no way.
So stupid.
No,
I don't
way,
think-
Yeah.
Stupid.
No, we have not said John Randall.
I don't think
We haven't. And why did I not think of that? It's so stupid. Who did I guess? Kendricks? What am I doing?
Yeah.
The top 8 are now off the board.
Wow.
Okay. How many are there? 20 hit 20.
26.
Oh,
Woo.
okay.
Scott Creighton.
Who's up?
Yeah, great.
It's Braun.
Oh, it is me?
Can I throw out random names just to mess with these guys when I'm out?
Yes.
Hey,
do.
hey.
Chill.
Got to answer.
Ray Edwards.
Ooh.
Yeah. Y'all count it.
Really?
Yeah.
UFC.
God.
Ray Edwards counted. That's
Wow.
I'm lucky.
Wow.
I'm lucky.
Wow.
amazing.
Ade Aruna.
Harrison Smith.
Ooh. Love that.
I thought about it. I would not have taken this risk. I was
20
scared.
and a half career sacks.
Wow. You're not first, you're last.
I'm going to make the same mistake as Inman. Anthony Barr.
Oh, that made more sense than Kendrick.
17 and a half sacks.
Okay, I was
Wow.
because I was like, when do I pull
That
out
dude only had
Anthony Barr?
17
How could I
and a
be
half
confident that
sacks.
one- Well, because like
He was
after his
coasting.
first 2 years, they just assigned a guy to him
Yeah.
for protection, and that was his value.
Would Gary Larson have counted? Am I stupid?
No way, Gary Larson would have. Really?
He
No
played
way.
for like 8 years.
I know, but come on.
Gary Larson easily would have counted 37 career sacks.
Yeah.
Wow.
You get like 2 a year and he makes it. Like
Yeah, but like
played for a
also-
long time. Ugh.
Okay. Who else was? Well, that was a long list, so maybe
It was a long list. And again, you had the only one in the top 10 you didn't get was Doug Martin of the 80s.
Okay.
Henry Thomas, I don't think you said.
I was thinking
Lance
about
Thomas.
Hank. Yeah.
Al Noga, Lance Johnstone.
I was going to say Al Noga as a joke once I got eliminated. I didn't know.
Hey, what about
Blair.
Wanham? I was going to guess Wanham.
Wanham would have made it. Wanham had
really?
23.
20?
Well, he led the
what about
team.
Swan?
Like
Winfield? Did we get Antoine Winfield?
I don't know if Winfield was. Yeah, Winfield was only 6.5.
Oh my
he wasn't
God.
big.
Okay.
Yeah, we think of him as
Wanham
like
is
a corner blitz
crazy
guy.
work.
but-
20 sacks is a lot less than I thought.
Guess who else had 20
Well,
in
he
that
led
sacks?
the team one year.
Tom Johnson. Tom Johnson.
Oh,
Wonder
okay.
Bucket.
Okay, yeah, that's a way
Dude.
smaller number than I was thinking. Wow.
Dude.
Yeah.
Get him back in pads. Let's go.
Short
Underbucket.
round. This will be a short round. I want field goal kickers that have 10 or more made field goals. With the Vikings, Braun starts.
Gary Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
Blair Walsh.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Longwell.
Mm-hmm.
Fred Cox.
Yep.
Dan Bailey.
Yes.
Morton Anderson.
Hey. There you go.
Yep.
Paul Edinger.
Dude.
Paul Edinger.
Jesus. Greg Joseph.
Oh, that was the name I was trying to conjure.
Yep. Very good.
I remember Paul Edinger.
Dude, I
Greg
can't think of
Joseph.
this dude's name. I can picture him. I can't think of his name.
Oh, man.
Oh, dude. All right, Daniel Carlson.
Oh, I don't think
No.
so. No.
Yeah, Carlson only had one
obviously
field goal
not.
as a
He got
Viking.
cut after 2 games, guys.
Yeah, he
I
missed more.
I couldn't think of my guy.
This more than he made. Braun and Arif. Braun
High four
go.
back.
I gotta look. That's who it was. Ah.
That's who I was thinking
From the
of.
Miracle Game. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Oh man. Okay.
It's getting tough now.
Okay.
Kai Forbath. Shame on me.
Got to answer.
No, I don't.
Legally, I don't have to.
Oh, man.
You could have said either of last year's kickers,
Will Reichard. Yeah, I could have
Will
said Will
Reichard.
Reichard.
or not JP Romo.
JP Romo had 10?
Yeah, 11.
Yeah, because of that Jags game.
Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Fuad Revez would have been a big
That's
one.
what I was trying
Oh
to think
my
of.
God.
Quad Revenge.
Jan Stenerud,
Wouldn't have got
Rick
that.
Har-
Fuad
Aaron
Revenge,
Elling,
Wouldn't have got that.
I
Eddie
think anyone
Murray.
got that joke.
Blair Walsh was like one of the first ones, but
Yeah, bad dad joke. Yeah, don't worry.
So
I got Romo.
is it 2-2? No. What's the score?
I'm
I
on
got
the board.
one.
I'm happy.
I got
2-1-1.
one.
Yes, I've got 2. So
Oh,
it's
this is
2-1-1.
huge. 2-1-1. Final category. Vikings with 5,000 career passing yards. We start
Oh.
with Arif.
Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mean as a Viking?
As a Viking.
Okay.
Just as if I get Culpepper.
Tarkenton.
Yep.
Favre.
Yep.
Dang, that's what I was gonna say. Jeff George.
I am sorry, Jeff
What?
George. No,
Only
that
one
was
year.
just one season. Just one season. Ouch. That hurts. That really hurts. Braun and Arif.
Teddy.
Yes, Teddy.
Teddy B.
The
Brad
drama
Johnson.
right now. Yep.
There you go. Oh, that's I was trying to come up with
What'd
that
you
one.
say?
Brad.
Johnson.
Oh, sure.
Tommy Kramer.
Tommy,
Yeah, of
number
course.
2.
Yeah, go. Jesus.
Tommy.
We're getting down there.
We haven't said Christian Ponder yet.
I was just gonna say, how did I? Yeah.
Ponder.
Yeah.
Count it.
Wade Wilson.
Oh,
Count it. I mean, I think
Warren Moon.
I think you guys exhausted the list. I think we
Joe Cap-
maybe one more. There might
Wait a
be one
minute.
more.
I think
Joe
this-
Cap?
Who?
Joe Cap.
Uh,
Keep you for 3 years.
Dude, I got one. Can I say it?
Yeah, but he also like
hold
never
on.
threw the ball in
Okay,
a 12-game season.
Joe Cap is not. Joe Cap is short of 5,000, and
Short of
it's Rich.
But-
It's Rich Gannon.
Rich
Rich
Gannon.
Gannon is correct. Arif wins.
Wait a minute. I got one more.
Yeah.
Tavares Jackson.
All right.
Did
Did he
T-Jack
have-
not cross 5,000 in like 2.5 years starting? That's
T-Jack
disgusting.
was short. T-Jack was short. He was short of 4,000.
Jesus.
What?
So,
Short
so
of
Teddy Bridgewater more career passing yards as a Viking than T-Jack is disgusting.
By
Wow.
a lot. Yeah.
By
Wait,
a
if he's
lot.
short of 4,000, that means he's short of Sam Bradford and Sam Darnold.
And Jeff George.
And Case Keenum.
Sam Bradford more than T-Jack. Sam Darnold more than T-Jack. Joe Cap
Wow.
more than T-Jack.
Wow.
Yeah, you guys ran the table there. With
Man.
Rich Gannon was the last one on the board. Very good.
Is this my
Excellent
first?
work,
No,
Andy.
I've won name drop before. I'm excited though. This is good.
I never look at the chat while we're doing it because I'm looking at the other screen, but yeah, they've been. Yes, Will Riker would have been a big one. All right, Arif, give a little victory speech. How do you feel?
Talk about it.
I feel good. The crown is on the appropriate head. This is as it should be. Check out wideleft.football for more on how to win games like this.
In honor of Around the Horns end, we will that's like our version of FaceTime after winning the game.
Yeah.
What we
Yeah.
just did.
Okay.
Rest in peace.
Thanks,
Around the
Tony.
Horn.
Thanks, Tony.
Hats off. We'll be back on Monday with more Minnesota Football Party. For Luke Braun of Locked On Vikings, Arif Hasan, wide left, Luke Inman. Applause to you. Timberwolves postcasts came to a close last night. What a season.
Heck of a run.
What a
Heck
season.
of a run. A lot of fun. A lot of fun.
And your reward? Just about 100 more Twins postcasts.
Minnesota Twins.
Playoff position,
hot.
right?
Are they good?
Yeah.
They're so good.
Hey, they got hot. Yeah. They're right in the thick of it now. Detroit Tigers, best record in baseball. Who'd have thought?
Who knew?
So
That
gotta
sounds
watch out for
wrong.
that.
That's
Who
yeah,
knew?
you looked
Doesn't
that
feel
up. That
right.
seems wrong. Yeah. Check that again.
I will.
Back next week. Hopefully, there are more salacious and provocative tweets about OTAs from the reporters. Do your jobs. See you next time.